uncover, explore, activate. With intention and availability, no expectations. Get ready to unleash with Kelly and Bree. Bare soul knowing.
Well, here we are, and welcome to another episode of Unleash with Kelly and Bree.
Woo! And today, Miss Jordan Clark.
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
Hey, everybody! Got my coffee, got my plaid, got my jeans. I'm ready for this.
We're having a cozy little couch session for today's episode.
Yes, we are.
Yeah, I guess we'll jump right in. You and I sat on a winter bench many months ago.
We did.
Frozen.
We did.
In
our little furry hoods, and just literally for 2 hours in the middle of Canadian winter.
Yeah.
But we were talking, and we were talking about our voice work and all of our exploration and our acting and our self-development. And as mid-conversation, I was like, this is exactly how Kelly and I talk. I'm like, this is exactly what we're talking about in all of our Unleash episodes. I was like, hold on. Okay, Kelly and I are doing this thing. We hadn't announced this yet. We need to have you on at some point, just because it felt so synchronistic. So that's just a little kind of intro as to why you are here.
Yes.
Aside from just being an awesome human.
She's one of us. And a very good
I'm
friend.
honored.
Yeah.
And a very good friend, and we're so happy to have you here.
Yeah, I'm so excited to be here. I mean, once you told me, I was like, heck yes, I'm there. I think there's a lot of things to grasp from what's going on in the world right now, and I think that's caused me to go a lot deeper than I normally do. So I think it was the alignment just kind of came, and so I'm happy to be here, guys.
And that's what we've really been focusing on as well, is just allowing those pings and those downloads to come. We got together, and at no point was I thinking about talking to you about this, but it's just the download hit, and I was like, well, I have this big feeling, so I'm going to speak to it. And, we've been trying to schedule this for a little bit, and it hasn't worked out, and here we are today. And for whatever reason, today is the day that it has happened, and it's happening for this reason. And it's been really cool for us, especially just following that path in whichever way it unfolds.
Yeah. And with that being said, because none of it was really premeditated or structured inside of this box or container, we're just going to let the conversation flow. And we're going to see what marks we hit and what comes up really organically for you, and what you want to speak to and what you're impassioned by right now.
I love all of that.
Should we maybe just, because obviously we know who you are, you know who we are.
Yeah. I'm like, who are you? How did I get here? I'm sorry. I'm Jordan.
We kidnapped you. I'm sorry.
I knew the neighbors were looking at me funny.
And we never asked this to get a resume from you, but just to let our audience and whoever is tuning in, if they don't know who you are, know a little bit about you and your journey. And
so hey guys, I'm Jordan. So I started out as a dancer. I started when I was 5 or 6-ish, and just kind of fell in love with the arts in general. I wanted to be an actor at first, and then I was like, reading out loud. Gosh, that seems very scary. Reading out loud. That was my child thought. Reading out loud. Whoa.
Interesting dancer block. I'm really putting an umbrella over that, but I also was like, I'm too shy to talk.
Yeah,
so
way too shy.
Really
I could say my own words, but somebody else's words, God, no. So I fell in love, and I also just was such a tomboy. I wanted to flip and do all these crazy things, and so I was doing that instead, and just completely fell in love with the dance world, and I started dancing professionally when I was 16 and started doing film and TV, and then went on to do So You Think You Can Dance, which was wild. And that kind of gave me the confidence to finally be able to speak and really be like, oh wow, maybe I could do this thing that I've always wanted to do, always, my entire life. And so I started doing singing lessons, I started doing acting lessons, and then auditioned for a show called The Next Step, which Bree and I did together. And just from that point on, it was like, oh, there's no turning back. And obviously I still dance, but I teach a lot, but that's kind of where I'm headed now, in that direction, and finding the power within the voice. And as I'm saying this, I can feel my throat tighten up and just go, hey, which is really interesting.
Wow. And it's cool too, because like, you know, being on So You Think You Can Dance, like we've had that same experience where you're so used to being on camera. Like that for me kind of was the same thing. It like cracked open so many things. And on the next step we're on camera, and we're always on camera, but yet like you are showing up as you on camera right now, which is different. Like on So You Think You Can Dance, like we're all a very heightened version of ourselves.
Very.
Acting, you're playing a character, even if it is informed by parts of your personality. And yeah, as a dancer, dropping into speaking to and revealing yourself on camera, like it shuts down parts of your body.
It does. It really does. And I think my go-to is be funny. And so just being grounded and letting people see that side of me a little bit more is a little bit intense for me, because my thing is entertain. Let's have everybody have a good time. Right. Here I am. I'm like the manager. Oh, this
Are you a
middle
middle child? Where are you in the order? I know you have a complex family, but
kinda. Yeah.
You probably
pretty
represent
much.
Sometimes the oldest, sometimes the middle, sometimes the youngest.
Yeah.
You get pieces of each archetype.
Yes. Well, from my dad's side, I'm the baby.
okay.
And then from my mom's side, I'm the middle.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's very bizarre.
You're like taking the energy and taking cues off of everybody else and figuring out what role you need to play.
Where do they place me?
Yes. And then how can I please? How can I keep the boat from rocking? And we have related a lot with that pleasing tendency, and that I'll be the performer to just keep everything calm.
Everybody's good.
Right.
If I handle this, everyone will be okay.
Right. And then
which
that
is
actually
gross.
just right. And sometimes the word manipulation comes across as a dirty word, but it's actually not. It's just we manipulate to try to control other people's experiences, or
we want
where
them to have
their
a good
emotions are at.
time.
Right. So it comes from this very sensitive, empathic place, but it also comes from this sort of place of abandoning our needs and where we're really at. And this word is a huge theme that we've been bringing up on many of our episodes. That where do I end and where do I end and the other people begin? And we are not responsible for other people's experience. And again, that comes from a place of love. We're not manipulating with malice of like, I need to control. It's actually, we're trying to self-protect, and we're trying to protect others.
Everybody.
And what's our go-to? Dance, monkey dance. I can perform, I can smile, I can... We all have the ability to turn that light switch because of, you know, it can be our upbringing, it could be our dance background, for you guys being on So You Think, and it's like, okay, the camera's rolling. Get your Bree on, get your Jordan on. It becomes this caricature of yourself.
Yeah.
It's very true.
And then it feels like this safe place, and then it becomes actually a coping mechanism. So just strip back those layers is so powerful and really painful, in fact.
It is.
What makes you realize how much of your life you have spent, again, this word, accidentally abandoning yourself. And I know for me anyway, that's the part that I'm like, ooh, it's like, oh my God, you know, I spent 30 years focusing out here because focusing here was too hard and too painful. And And it is just easier to try to control others than to actually look at the impulse and why you want to be doing that or why you need to. And
For a long time, I think I thought that's how people wanted me to be.
Right, yeah.
And then there was this breakthrough. Gosh, I don't even know.
I'm getting like full-blown goosebumps.
I know.
need to just see you guys. I need you to witness me witnessing you.
Yeah.
Actually, that you're letting us in right now is really special.
It's scary. It's scary, and I think when I was in a relationship and I thought, oh, I can help this person. I can really see this person, and I can help, and I can, and I realized that I could not.
Yeah.
And that was the first time that I let go of something, and I was holding on to something that was so not right, and just for the two of us, and it took me years to let go. Years.
I remember having many a conversation with you, and I'm like, Jordan. Like, yeah, but. I'm like, Jordan. Yeah, but.
Because I thought I was failing.
Well, of course.
I am a
That's
failure. I am a
bring into
failure to let this go, because as dancers and as entertainers, we make anything work. Are you kidding?
Our job.
Let's go. You fall, you get back up. You do it again, you know? And so there was a lot of significance in that relationship ending for me.
Yeah.
And I was very... Woo! It was a rough time. Rough times. Like, very interesting. Very unhappy within myself. And I was in Europe at the time, and in Europe, everybody lives life so differently. And there's so much, let's live versus controlling or work-based. And that really opened up a whole lot of things for me. And I just tried to live more than control and, you know, really think about things, because I used to do things in the sense of, oh, this person's not going to like it. Oh, this person's not going to like it. Oh, I can't do that because, you know what, we want to keep the peace and we want to blah, 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 all these things for other people. And so there was that took a long time.
Wow.
A little too long for my likings, but...
Yes, and we talk about this a lot also, because we're like, great, I've made it over this hill, and I'm never going to get here again, and I'm succeeding, and I'm growing, and I'm blah, blah, blah. And it's just like,
yes,
it happens when it happens, how it happens, as it is meant to happen. And even if you had wanted it to happen earlier, you wouldn't have been ready.
No, and deep, profound... resonant healing takes time and so much patience.
Yeah.
And the fact that you actually were open to maybe look at more of that so that it could really be an integrated change is, like, as you say, what led to the breakthrough that I think we have also spoken about our own, and why you're on this couch. There's like gratitude in that moment.
There is. And I think a lot of people do things for other people, and which is a wonderful thing. It is, like you were saying, it's a wonderful thing, and the intention is beautiful. But once you start shutting yourself down, I was so unhappy. Holy smokes! Like, and I didn't even realize it.
Yeah,
I didn't even know it. And then all this happiness came from this letting things go. And then all of a sudden it was like, oh, it's just me. And, oh my God, I've made also other people very unhappy because I'm making choices now for myself, and I'm not, it was like, I'm changing who I am, and people were like wait, hold on. You can't do that.
This.
Yeah. You have been this person. You have been this person for me, and this person for me. And I'm like, oh my gosh. gosh, like terrifying. And there was a lot of confrontation, which I was not about. And
Are any of us good at confrontation?
No.
It's like we're like trying, like I got this. Like, oh, I hate this.
It's so awful.
Yeah.
And I don't think anybody really does like confrontation, but
I mean, I know some people who do.
Yeah. Well, some people are just can lean into or open into those emotions.
Yes.
Or harden or call into that warrior self.
Yeah.
But there is something about I surrender that happens like more easily, and again, it comes back to self-trust. It was like I never trusted myself enough to stand my ground and believe in my boundaries.
yes.
And what happens in relationships, especially when we've been a pleaser or we've been someone that's more codependent, and I think my favorite definition of feeling codependent is I'm not okay if you're not okay, and that's that's how my system wants to automatically function in the world, and I'm working through it a lot right now also, that then there's this unwritten rule or agreement in your relationships. People know you as that.
Yeah.
And when you want to change the rules, which we absolutely are entitled to and need to grow and change and expand.
And daily or hourly if we need to.
Yes. That when we change the rules, people become unnerved or they feel unstable or have to look at themselves. And again, we don't like that change. Like humans want to predict. The ego wants to predict and control.
Yep.
And then we think it's our fault and we can't hold the boundary, and then the confrontation comes, and then we just cave in on ourselves. You're like, white flag, way easier to abandon. I'll go back to being that person.
Let me just become small again,
that's it.
And I can back
and
up.
I'll be the performer, and I can totally go back on what I where my ground was so stable 3 minutes ago. Now I suddenly am in quicksand, and you win.
Yep. It's so true.
But it's like, even just those words that you use and stuff, and like, I'm having, because I shouldn't say I'm having a hard time, but there's a part of me that it's like, but of course, because it has nothing to do with your brain, and it has everything to do with your nervous system, and not feeling safe, and knowing that if I do this, like the last time I did this happened, and it does feel life or death, and. So, we've talked about this a lot, like, I want to will my way out of it. It's like, nope, I've got this. I am not a codependent. I can do this. I can whatever. And it's like, that doesn't always work because your system has however many decades of previous life experience.
Ingrained in the muscle, in the bone, in all of that. Your habits are from life experience.
Ages 0 to 7, right? I think are the most
formative
in our childhood. And as human beings, I think we're like the only baby that is so defenseless. Like we're out of all the animals in the animal kingdom and the mammals and everything, we like really are helpless when we're born. Yeah, it's true. And so being abandoned or rejected are life or death things.
Yes.
And our programming doesn't allow us to absolve those things or to necessarily find the solution.
Yep.
And so we hop back into them so easily. If I don't please you, or if I change this invisible agreement, you will reject me, you will abandon me equals death.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that is like truly the most pervasive thing for everyone. No one escapes that dialogue.
Yeah. It's just everyone's at a different level of intensity. Whereas like going back to that confrontation thing, some people are okay with confrontation because they know that confronting you is not going to mean you're going to abandon me. Whereas with me, I'm like, if I confront you, you might leave me and then I will die.
Yeah, it's an interesting thought. And I think, you know, you do label yourself as something in society. You label yourself as, oh, you are this person, and you are accountable, and accountable for being that person. And I think as a dancer, there's a little bit more of that because you have to make everything work. And that's just such an interesting thought process to me. Just having that and being an actress, what freedom, what opposite things that I've experienced being a different. There's no rules. Wow. There's no rules. Whereas a dancer, I find that there's very much rules. And it's like you have to be this way and you take in the corrections this way, you behave this way, you make everything easy for the person in charge. And that was very easy for me because I go, woo, no problem. Would you like me to do? I'll just be here. Yeah. And then as an actress, you come out. Yeah.
I often say I love being the instrument to someone else's creative investigation.
Yeah.
But no longer, I think all three of us maybe are okay with being the instrument that doesn't have a voice.
Yeah.
The instrument that doesn't have a person.
Yep.
That where humanity must be in the room.
Yeah.
I'm not a body without a soul. I'm not a body without a mind. And I'm being a bit intense with some of these labels, but I'm really interested in hearing like your own personal. I mean, you spoke to it a little bit, but if you could expand on that transition from dancer to actress, like when you really wanted to jump off that cliff, like, can you speak to any of those specific blocks or aha moments that unlocked some of it?
Oh gosh, yes.
Like, for it.
So when we were doing the next step, I really felt like I'm gonna do everything right, and I'm gonna be like the gold star, like I'm gonna get all the gold stars. And I remember,
they're gonna love me.
Yeah, and which sounds so but it's true. You strive for that. And I remember not getting those gold stars and being like, I'm doing everything you're saying and I'm more. And what is going on? Like, I don't understand. And that was a really interesting thing for me. And then there was a couple points where I fought back a little bit, and then that was very uncomfortable. and then it was like, oh, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this as a career. I'm going to be an actress. And people questioning that, being like, but you're so good at dancing. Like, and I remember just being like, what? You can't, like, okay, thank you very much, but you can't tell me what to do. You can't tell me that I have to be this because I'm good at this.
Right.
And
in some kind of box.
In this little box. And then I had that moment where, okay, I'm going to break up with this person, and whoa, I'm gonna really dive into this, and and I was so vulnerable. Oh my god, I'm like shaking.
I was gonna say, you're having a bit of a re-embodied.
Yeah.
We're processing right now. The fact that we're witnessing your process is like, I'm so grateful. Holy moly.
Yeah. So like, it was. I was no longer this person that was very good at this thing. I was, because that's what I was known as, Jordan the dancer. Yeah. Jordan the dancer. Nobody got to know me for me. So understanding who the hell I was. who the hell is Jordan Clark? Jordan Clark, she's so nice. Jordan Clark, the dancer. Jordan Clark, and she's so fun. Jordan Clark, but that was all the persona. And then I felt like, oh, okay, I'm getting to know who I am now, 3 years after that point. Wow, I'm really sinking in with who I am. Wow, I'm making really big strides, lots downs, lots and lots and lots downs.
Here for it.
And just so unhappy with myself. And then I did an acting workshop with this wonderful human being, Larry Moss, and changed my life. And I had a great session, and I was crying, and I didn't know why I was crying after my scene, and he kind of asked me, and I said, I think I'm just so happy. And that was fine. And then I continued to do self-development, and I worked with Frank Van Keeken, the creator of The Next Step, on a new project, My Perfect Landing, and I had so much fun. And I wasn't trying to people please. I was just doing me, and I was getting the communication that I wanted from when I was on the next step. And it wasn't like I was trying to people please. I was just doing things.
Yeah.
And I was just like, whatever. And it
You
was
were
just
showing
working.
up.
Yeah. And so that was really telling for me. And then I went back and did Larry Moss's intensive again. And I got quite an intense and very intense scene. And it was very scary for me to do this scene. Because the character that I was playing got raped in the scene, and it was like, whoa, oh my gosh, oof, oof, oh, like just so many, just, and I had to just commit. There was no other option. So I did, and I just was like, whoa, what am I doing? Whoa, like, what just happened? You know when you have those blanks?
Well, because you're so out of control that you just black out.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so he was like, how did that feel? And I just said, I'm not really sure. Like, I'm just not, I don't really know. Yeah. And I think it was good, but I don't think I've come back into my body yet. And after that whole week, you do it twice. He said to me, it's going to be exciting when you stop making yourself so small. Oh. And I was like, I'm sorry? Because I felt like I had committed fully. And he's like, you are the only thing that's holding you back. And I was so confused by that statement. Because I felt I've been doing 3-4 years of very intense work, very, very intense, and I was just really lost when he said that. Very, very lost. And
we're gonna take a brief intermission.
Guys. So what was I saying?
You were lost because Larry told you, like, I'm excited for when you're the thing holding you back.
Yeah, and which is so mind-blowing to me, because I thought, oh my God, I'm here, I'm doing the work, I'm doing so much. What are you talking about? And he said that I have some walls, I have some blocks going on. And I didn't know what that meant whatsoever. I was just like, okay, nodding politely. And
classic.
Meanwhile, your ego's going
so pissed.
Yeah. You were ready to literally fight.
Yeah, I was like, excuse me?
Yeah.
Holding me back.
Yeah, I'm big.
What are you talking about? And wouldn't even have put that thought into my head. Big, not even there yet. And I just thought, commitment. I'm committed.
Right. You're doing the
I'm doing
work.
it. Yeah. So I'm here. What do you mean? What are you talking about? And he suggested, maybe you should go see a therapist, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, that's where it started? Cool. Cool.
And so I was like, yeah, okay. All right, sure. Let's give this a try.
Right. My teacher told me to, so I'm going to do it.
So I'm going to do it. The good student that I am, of course. Come on.
If it's on the rubric, we'll fulfill.
We will fulfill. The checklist. Okay.
I got you. Yeah. So you were open to it, like you're kind of like, sure, I'm going to do this.
Yeah. Sure.
But it was certainly coming from like an outward.
Yes. Yeah. Not from me.
Right.
And so I gave it a shot. And was just kind of like, okay, this is interesting. And he also mentioned that I should take voice lessons, and not singing lessons, voice lessons. And I was like,
breath work.
Yeah. Breath, speaking, and again, had no stinking idea what that was. And I was very confused. I was like, okay, so
what about acting? What about the acting part?
Very confused.
So interesting.
So speak louder?
Right, like, do I project my voice?
Yes, because
lower it.
Because I can be loud.
Do I?
Because I can show you loud. Yeah. I can which is funny because he said that to me.
So interesting.
He said, "Are you taking voice lessons?" And I had said, which I was. Still didn't understand what it was. Still didn't understand.
Yeah.
And I was briefly taking it, and I was doing warm-ups and And I just thought, okay, so the second time I did the scene, there's a part where I like scream for help, like just bloody murder. So I was like, I'm just gonna go for it this time. And I screamed so loud. And I just like about died inside. And he was like, I just want to clarify after the scene was done, voice work is not about screeching louder. He's like, it was quite a little bit more piercing, your screeches. And I was like, wow, the fact that you noticed that. And I was so vulnerable and so like seen in that moment.
I feel it.
Yeah.
So like
right now.
here.
And I was just like, oh my god, I just want to shrink and just like, oh, that's not what it is.
Not feel small right now.
Yes.
Whoa.
And so that was that moment. And I started taking therapy, and I hadn't gotten into voice classes. And then I auditioned for something where I was playing kind of like a hippie character. And I had booked a session with Larry, a one-on-one session. And he said it again to me and said, gosh, whenever you stop being so small. And I said, fuck! Are you
But
kidding?
you didn't actually say that.
No.
I was like, I would have been like, yeah, 10 points.
No, I was like, oh, for sure.
Right,
voice
of
is up
course.
here. No problem.
I get it. I totally understand.
Yeah, absolutely. No problem. Like, oh, small.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the pandemic happened. And I had no idea. The pandemic was a real magnifying glass for me. And I had no idea how much pressure I was putting on myself. And that was a huge part of my block. Mm-hmm. The pressure and the tension it was causing in my body to not feel anything because I need to do well. I need to get the gold sticker. I need to book the job. I need to do this. I'm Jordan and I'm here and I'm ready. And it was so telling. And I started voice work with Catherine. And then that's when Kelly and I started working together. And I remember being so upfront with Catherine, being like, I don't know what the hell this is. Like, I don't understand what voice is. I'm going to be straight up with you. I don't understand it. I don't know
why I'm here.
I don't know why I'm here trying to do the work. I don't get it.
Because of course you have to get it and understand it. It needs to make perfect
right
sense
away.
in order for you to even jump into anything. Because before you even learn something new, you want to be the perfect student.
Yes.
I feel like that comes all of us. Like, before I start anything new, I do so much research so I can go in knowing what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
It's like,
God forbid we
why
make
am
a
I
mess.
paying you to teach me the thing if I'm coming in, you know what it's like?
Yep.
That's
So
us. We want to show
interesting.
up worthy and perfect.
Yep.
And like you were saying early, like worthy of your time.
Yeah. Gold star means I'm validated.
Yeah.
And I'm worth your time.
And I'm a good human.
Well,
and
also, like, again, the pressure, too, of, like, oh, maximize your time with this person.
Right.
You know?
Yes.
Maximize the time so you can progress faster.
Yeah.
But the body has its own time, so it's on its own schedule.
We know it.
Yes. So...
Oh, and I remember talking to you when you had just kind of started working with her, maybe. And that's what intrigued me so much, because I was also looking at the blocks in my own voice in my throat for different reasons. And you saying she has this somatic background, meaning can work with the emotions in the body, therapeutic background, dance background, acting. So she was maybe the perfect combination to really help you drop in or understand. And did something shift once you started working with her?
I think it was just exciting. It was really exciting, the discoveries that I was making. Still not sure what the class was all about, but really exciting to get the aha moments. And I think tension was a big release. Like, I didn't realize the tension was there. I also didn't realize that I had something that she said to me was like, who's the person in your head? And whoa.
Breakthrough.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Breakthrough moment. And it was like, are they older? Is it you? Who is this person? And it wasn't me. And that was a huge shock for me. And I was trying to please this other person that wasn't even me. So how the hell am I going to find out who I am if I'm letting this person control me?
If they're still running the show. And that they aren't us, and yet they are. Because now that voice was maybe originally from them, but we've taken it on. They are a part of us. And it's not about killing that voice. Like, they'll now always be with us in a way, but then how can we work with, ask permission for them to step aside? Like,
Judge Judy.
Right. Judge Judy. Totally. It's self-critic.
When I would speak to my therapist, I'd be like, I don't understand. I'm like, come on. Like, that kind of physicality. Like, let's go.
Like,
you know?
almost violent, like, to the self.
Yes. But it's muscling.
Yeah.
You're muscling everything. Not everything needs to be muscled.
You're in
Almost
resistance.
Almost nothing needs to be muscled.
You're in resistance too. Yeah.
Yeah.
And well, what's so interesting too, and that I'm hearing right now when you speak of all this, is you could get away with that as the dancer, Jordan.
Yes.
But your system was rejecting the human Jordan through that version, and especially your acting work actually didn't allow it.
No, it didn't.
And what's so interesting too, and I'll just sort of speak to for a moment, is, and you can let me know if I'm on the right track or not, but I feel like, you have such a capable body, and you have like really always had this natural, fearlessness with flips and tricks and like, it just sort of, there's an ease, even though there is this like this muscularity and maybe this demand that you put on yourself, you can access, as soon as you sort of like set your mind to it, you could flick the switch and just be like, and now I'm lyrical, and now I'm acro, and now and you were such a chameleon. But the thing about acting, and that is drawn you to it, is that how difficult it is, and that it's asking you to push your edges in this way that like your highest self is craving.
Yes.
And then that's why there's almost this trigger of like, why can I only be the dancer? Like, I'm really comfortable as the dancer, but I don't want necessarily comfortable.
And it's not like dance was easy for me either.
Yeah.
Which was really interesting. But I think you're right in the aspect that I felt like I could attack anything, like I could take on things. Not that necessarily I was good at all of it, but I could attack it, and I wasn't scared to attack it.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay, cool.
And yeah, I don't know where I was going with this thought, but
I'll interject quickly, because I'm a little bit further on this journey of transitioning from dancer to actor, and a little deeper into the therapy and all of that. I've just been doing it for longer. And well, I think that comment about like wanting to take on the challenge and like your higher self wants to go for it, whatever, it's like, it's almost the opposite. Your higher self, at least for me, and I don't know if this resonates with you, your higher self wants to go, please give me a break. Please, let's connect with who I am. Please breathe. Please deepen. It's not about...
It's exhausting.
It's not a challenge. You don't want... your body does not want another challenge.
Doesn't want a challenge.
Your body wants to release and let go.
That's correct.
And touch.
Be who you are.
And play.
That's 100% what it is. It's being whole. That's what it's striving for.
Yeah.
It's not taking on the people pleaser, the gold stars. I mean, obviously you still strive for those gold stars, but it's less about the gold stars and
it's
more
about you giving yourself a gold star.
Exactly. And I even feel that, I mean, you and I went and took a dance class. Oh, and woo, was that a challenge, because for my muscle mentality, I wanted to go there. I can muscle through this. No problem. I got this. And then it was like, no. We're just going to enjoy and we're just gonna not really try all that hard.
For both of us, we hadn't been training really. Like we weren't in the dance body place, which the Judge Judy and the critic shows up real fast and real hard.
Really
the
fast.
comparison of, well, I used to be able to stand on one leg so easily, and so those voices are like so present.
And then it goes, oh, if I'm not a dancer and I'm not an actress, what am I? So the occupation has so much to do with who you are as an individual, that you're just trying to be you instead of whatever you do.
Or a thing.
You know. But you're right in the sense, going back to that wholeness. It's you're not striving for anything.
Oh, that's so, and that's why I wanted to ask, because I'm not on this transitional place into the acting world, and that is like so beautiful the way you're articulating it, and it's really like I'm feeling it in my own life in my own way.
Yeah.
So thank you for like giving such clarity around it.
I'm not even sure I understood it until you just said it.
Right. Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Because again, like when you're here, you can't see it, and it does. Like I only now understand that, however many years into it.
It's like, this is the thing that's allowing me to feel the most myself.
Yeah, and to like as an actor, you have to like that is the work.
So much shedding.
Is shedding and uncovering. So it's about doing less and just allowing that all to happen, and that's the work.
And then like to build the trust.
Oh my God,
that you'll get there.
With your body.
Yeah,
your mind and your body, two separate things. In you know, and that's what I've been dealing with.
One agenda,
one
We
muscles.
talked about it being a floating head, right?
Yeah.
You're like, my head's up here, and the body's doing something totally different.
And it's like I'm not ready.
Yeah,
and your brain's like, I can bully you into this.
100%, 100%. And you know, I've been doing a lot of body stuff, specifically Alexander technique, and there's a relaxation exercise.
I love how we all know we're just like,
Right.
I'm constantly in negotiation with myself.
Ooh.
I'm constant. Hello? Did you do enough today? No, but maybe that's okay. No, you need to get off your butt and go and do that.
Oh, totally.
Or, you know, it's constant negotiating with yourself. And that's okay for the time being, because I think that is the transition.
Yeah.
But, the relaxation exercise, you just lay there.
A version of a meditation.
A version of a meditation.
Yeah.
I can't quite meditate yet.
Well, we have an episode coming out on that, and it might help you.
Okay, because I really struggle. And you put me on to meditation at the beginning of the pandemic, which helped me, I think, a lot. Every morning I do my meditation, my version of it. Yeah. And it really set things, I think.
And we just want it to last. Like, you're like, okay, well, I've done it for the 21 days. It was like the 21-day challenge. And then you're like, uh-oh. I don't have anywhere to get to.
Now where do I go?
What, right? Like, all of a sudden you see the finish line. You're like, I can do this for 21 days. I'm very good at checking boxes. Like, give me a check. It's a meditation challenge?
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
Jordan's like front of the line beside
like,
Bree
I got
and
this.
I.
I'm here. Like, let's go.
Yep. Asking questions every day.
Yeah.
Hey, so how do you feel?
Yeah.
Like, just keener. Just
and yet
kissing the butt.
Kissing the butt.
Kissing the butt.
And yet somewhere in there is a piece or a granule of, ooh, this feels really good and really different. And I actually, once I can get out of my own way, as you say, there's something here. There's a gem here that, and maybe your way into Jordan's version of meditating, because Bree and I both have very different ways in, and the way we practice now is very different and very changing. That your way in might be, who knows? It's gonna just catch you off guard one day,
and then it will
there.
shift. It will continually and giving yourself the allowance for things to change and shift, and what worked in this 21-day challenge maybe doesn't work now 14 months into a pandemic. You know, and that's okay.
Does anything?
Does anything?
I'm not sure at this point, to be completely honest. Yeah, it's very interesting, guys.
I'll just, for 1 second, bring it back to when we took that dance class together, and you were like, where am I? Am I the dancer? Am I the actress? I remember you
after that class.
I remember even in the moment, you had, and we spoke about it afterwards, that I saw something in you that I don't know I've ever seen in a studio. We've done a lot of shows together, a lot of kids galas, like very performative.
For sure.
You know, we can act our way through those roles, and it was a glimmer of, holy shit, there's been a huge shift. And I saw it, and I think you felt it, and I think like it's so intense in the moment, and then the integration afterwards, because you really let yourself go there in front of like two very close friends. And so I think that was like a pretty profound moment also. Yeah,
and I think there's a part of me that wants to fail just to get it over with.
Whoa, that's like, there's so many things around that. That's so interesting.
Yeah, so I don't even know.
Fail at in the just fail at anything so that you can quote unquote hit rock bottom so that it's only up from here.
No. So it's a mentality thing. It's fail because my self-worth is wrapped around success, and so it's like I just need to show myself that failure is not the end.
Yes. Failure's
Failure,
not death.
It's not death. So it's like I just need to fail for a second and see how my body reacts. And see. And
sorry, keep going. I just had thoughts, but
no, please.
Well, I was just gonna say, like, what has this past year been? Failure after failure after failure.
Yeah.
From external sources, lots of, as we said, lots of red lights. Like, COVID has screwed our entire industry, lifestyle, time and time again, over and over again. Have you not experienced so much failure this past year?
I don't know if I'd put it like that.
Right. So what to you is a failure?
I think it was people watching.
And you falling and people watching.
Yes.
Okay.
I think failure, I think I can fail by myself.
To be witnessed in the mess. This resonates with me hugely.
Right. So you want to just show up and be like, I'm not perfect, I'm horrible, I'm having a bad day, and I'm still here. And look at me. This is Jordan Clark.
I'll still be loved. This is a big...
Or even you won't. Or you won't.
Right, or I won't, but the me loving myself.
That's what I mean. I can still love me.
Yeah, that was hard. That was hard to do that. Because it was like, I'm a terrible student. Terrible friend. Terrible.
Isn't that wild that you're like, even in your close relationships, that your value is placed on how good you are at these things? But we've all been there. We all do that.
Daily struggle with it daily. This is not and we got the golden key and we turned it 3 times and now I'm always in love with myself. We talk about this all the time. It's just like we wake up one morning and you're like, here she is, Judge Judy, trying to get in the driver's seat again. And you spend the whole day just asking her to get in the passenger
yesterday
seat.
For me. Yesterday, I was like, okay, listen.
Will I ever be
just I'm like, should we just sit on the couch today, sweet cheeks?
Right.
You know, like
and
just having a moment. And it's just negotiating for hours. Hours. And it's I think it's Catherine that said it to me. She said, aren't you just exhausted? And I said, crying. Started bawling. I'm so tired. I'm so tired of negotiating with myself. I'm so tired of this harsh talk to myself. I'm so tired. And so that's when I realized, it's actually just being present and being just in the moment. And I remember having conversations with people and not saying how I actually felt.
Yeah.
Because I would
Constantly.
probably rock a little bit of the boat. And doing that baby step by baby step and being like, ooh, I don't know if I necessarily agree with that, but I can see where you're coming from, or whatever that might be, It's just baby step by baby step.
And that's where the patience comes in. And it's like, if you're really diving into the self-work right now, you're being patient on so many different levels. So we're also being patient with our careers. We're being patient with the global pandemic.
Then what
you're
really
being
helped
patient
me was watching flowers.
Oh my God, my heart.
Oh, that's beautiful.
It's so, and I know that sounds like really,
No, none of those.
Okay,
No,
okay.
not in this space.
Okay.
We're here for all of that.
but
Oh,
I
no.
think, so when I got back into my house, I was watching the grass, and I was watching the flowers, and to watch them bloom, or burn, or whatever that is.
Hold that thought.
Yeah.
To watch them bloom.
So the
your
blooms.
flowers were blooming.
That, it was just really telling that they had a whole cycle,
Yes.
and that it wasn't, I'd be there watering and I'd be muscling it to try and make it happen, but if it didn't get what it needed, it wasn't working. And there was nothing I could do to help muscle the process along.
Yeah.
And it all had its own timeline.
Right.
So that was really fascinating to me. I've never in my life have had so much time to watch flowers or to witness the earth do its thing.
Yeah.
And I think being in one place for a certain amount of time, I mean, I haven't spent this amount of time in Canada since I was a child.
Wow.
And so to really just, and I think, I had just moved into the house, and so I everything was very new. And when things are new, they're more apparent to you.
Yeah.
You're
There's
not
a
used
novelty.
to them.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
So you-
awareness and
Yeah, exactly. You're just more aware of things. And so just witnessing the whole thing. And then again, being here in the spring, witnessing all of it.
Rebirth.
Yeah.
Right. It's nature, and that everything does have a cycle. And Bree and I love this thought that we also have seasons.
Yes.
And in winter, we're not meant to be this growing,
Thriving.
dynamic, thriving.
Yeah. We're meant to do this and just cuddle and cozy, and
We don't like it.
No, we hate it.
Because it makes us unproductive.
Unproductive.
And productivity equals worthiness. And
Yeah.
here we
Cycle,
go again.
cycle,
We
cycle.
cycle back to all the themes of this conversation.
Yep.
Yeah. One note on the nature thing is like, yes, you water your flowers and all of the things that you do, but if you disappeared and just took a step back and did this, they would still do it.
Yeah.
And that's almost what, especially as an actor, you need to do that. You just need to go, okay.
Woo. Yep.
It will.
100%.
Just letting things fall.
Because it's true. I would spend, there's a certain area in my backyard where I'd spend like a half an hour watering. And these other two pots, I'd just be like,
Oh, wow.
And these guys, I was focusing on.
Yeah.
Nothing. These guys, blooming. I was like, okay,
Right.
listen, but what's happening?
Well,
because
that's
you
exactly
can,
the lesson.
yeah, you can overwater, you can overwork, you can
With such
overindulge,
precision.
Yes.
you can thinking that you are doing good. You're like, but flowers need water.
Yep.
This is how we make flowers grow. Give them water.
Yeah.
But not every flower needs the water, and at the time that you want to give them water, and
Right, it's never on our timeline.
never.
Yeah, and I think Bree too, if I'll just say, like, you're a big expander for me in this specific realm, because I too very much like Jordan, like, wake up in the morning and I'm like, well, what are you gonna do today? And it's like, it's actually maybe the work is not doing the work my therapist offers to me a lot, and to surrender is so incredibly painful for me. And but what strength in softening, in allowing, in giving ourselves permission. And like you are a really beautiful reminder and mirror of that for me. And that, where does that allow us more space in observation of self when we can just take our hands off the wheel for a second? Like, maybe the car will run itself off the road, but you'll get back in with much more clarity and sort of a precision and just this like idea of how are you going to talk to yourself? What do you need today? Like I saw a really great meme that was different ways to talk to yourself, like you're a pet, like you're a 5-year-old girl, like you're your best friend, like a student, like all these things. I would never talk to myself
in any of those ways.
But to be like, you're like so cute today. You look so cuddly. Like the way I would talk to a dog, to look in the mirror and talk to myself like that. Like, oh, it's so indulgent. It's so egoic. Like, absolutely not. It's really not. Like, and to love ourselves and speak to ourselves in these many different ways is just, it's beautiful.
So that's exactly beautiful. And that idea of surrendering, where it's like on the one side you can surrender and like have the space to look at yourself and go inward and whatnot. And that's one beautiful thing to do, but that's also still, you're surrendering for the purpose of doing the work, as opposed to surrendering to go, I wonder what magical thing will arrive today if I just sit and be.
Yeah, I'm just going to read, or I'm just going to watch TV.
Or you might be putting around and be like, oh wait, I have those like acrylic paints in my closet. I all of a sudden feel called to paint. Cool. I'm going to paint with no agenda, no timeline. And just like, I found that in all of this free time, I will have those days where like all of a sudden I've picked up a random old hobby that I used to love that I'm like, how did I get here? I'm like, oh, I was just following the flow.
Yeah.
And then I'll follow the flow for a few days, and then I'll go, well, now you have to do it every day. And you have to now be a professional painter.
Yep.
Like, that's where my brain goes with it.
Yep.
Well, now you're this, and that defines you, and now this is what your schedule looks like.
So
meditate,
true.
write, read, paint, create a new modality, like save the world, and make dinner.
And
go to bed by 9
dinner.
o'clock.
Yeah, and make sure you get 8 hours.
Right, and if you don't, then your next day's ruined.
Done. You are done. And if you don't have your coffee by 8:30, you're done.
Right?
Yeah,
There's
like,
nothing.
Yeah, it's so funny. It's so funny.
At least we can laugh. At least we
Yes,
can laugh.
we can talk about it and we can laugh about it, and because we've been there and we have that awareness. And
and then we're all going through the same, different versions of the same.
Yeah.
It's true.
One last question to maybe wrap this up, because we obviously could talk forever.
With no agenda.
With no agenda. What is one thing, can be a physical thing or an intangible thing, that you are excited about with or for yourself? Can be something new you've discovered amongst this process. Something you're looking forward to diving into more. Or maybe we like to use the word that turns you on, that lights your system up.
I think just being more present, and that sounds so general, but I'm noticing smells more. And I think because of that relaxation exercise, something that you do is you close your eyes, obviously, and you try and hear the furthest sound from you. Like the air conditioning just came on.
I know, I was just doing it with you.
Yeah. You know, the birds.
Yeah.
Oh, I love the birds here.
You know, but then you smell what's like. You know, there's so many different triggers for you. There's the feeling, your senses.
Yeah.
So I'm just really noticing my senses more, which I think deepens more appreciation for the little things. And I think I just haven't had the time to do that. And I've always liked nature and all that stuff, but I think didn't have the time. And so I think I'm just, because I've had so much time.
This it's the story of the perception of time.
Yeah.
And we've talked about this a lot. I love this mantra that Jordan offered to me, which was,
We'll just ignore that one. That was a fake. That was a fake.
"Fake out."
Like, did we just black out? Was that 30
I know.
minutes?
Jen? Man, it's been 8 hours. We didn't eat any meals. We gotta go to bed.
No, seriously.
But that you say to yourself now, I have time.
I have time.
And you know, we always did.
Yeah.
We stuffed a lot in a day because we were feeding this sort of anxious tick to be productive. But like now it really can be reconceptualized and like to feel time. To feel time passing or not passing, and like that is just restructured.
Yeah, it is. It really is. And that was a huge one for me. I have time.
Yeah.
I have time. There's no schedule. There's no schedule. What is this imaginary schedule that you've made for yourself?
That's
Like,
powerful.
That's nonsense. That's pressure. That's tension.
The voice.
That's Judge Judy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Tension, Judge Judy.
Tension, Judge Judy. You know, I used to just end it, but in auditions, I used to have so much tension in my body, and I didn't know it at the time, but that my nerves would spaz up my neck, and I'd have to physically muscle my neck, and I'd be in a full scene. And I didn't know what that was, and every time I had an in-room audition, it would almost happen. Until I understood that that's where I hold my tension. And like
physical manifestation of it in
I
that place.
I wear my hair like this right now because it causes tension. So I have to like practice. I have to practice every morning. Practice, because this is tight.
Right.
Practice.
Letting it go.
Just sitting there. Just physically, this represents tightness. And then, but sitting in that.
Right.
But I felt it the whole time. The whole time we've been talking.
That it wants to do that.
Yeah.
Right, because the body listens.
Yeah. So I'm just like, okay, we're good. We're good. We're good. We're okay.
Wow.
A quick question for you. Of course, we're like, okay, we're going to end this.
Yeah,
right.
Well.
What is the first thing you think of to release that tension? Like, what
Breathe.
is... Okay, yeah,
Breathe.
I was just... Cause,
Stop breathing.
Okay, because, you like, I was like, okay, what about your breath? Because you were, like, motioning to your this now, whatever, and, like, that's... And we haven't really talked about breath stuff. We're going to talk about breath stuff
do a really
on an episode.
great episode about it,
But,
Huge.
yeah, because, like, so much tension lives in your gut, in your torso, and it manifests in other places in your body. And it's so, like, cool how your brain has gone, like, I'll wear my hair up so that it forces into this, so the blah, blah, blah. But it's almost like helpful, but a workaround where the thing is actually here.
Yeah, for sure. And I think it's just getting used to the muscles feeling like that and just being, oh, I can actually breathe.
like, what can I do if and when it happens?
Breath is so interesting. It is so fascinating to me, and how much I don't breathe.
Yeah.
And how shallow my breath is.
Yes.
And just...
Do you attribute that to a dance thing?
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah, because, well, I'm holding my... I was holding my shoulders. I was holding my posture. I was holding my core all the time, to the point where I couldn't sit in my body. I couldn't really be present because it was...
Well, and there's no
I have a
ability
six-pack at all times.
for flow.
Right, you can't... There's no dynamic recalibration that's, like, always available. A lot of the body workers I work with now talk about how it's not a sticking point. You're not stuck when you're in that posture. So the cool thing, too, now is... I know sometimes I maybe sound like I'm blaming dance for a lot of things. No. But and I'm very much a dancer, like, and love it. But I think what's really amazing in doing the breath work and the letting go is now we have both. We have access to what it is to be here on the couch together, and all of us dropping into our gut. I'm not holding my stomach at all, but we could get up and.
And here we are.
And find
I'm
that
ready.
alignment and be there. But now it's an option to not be unconsciously stuck.
Yes.
In this limiting, rigid place.
Yes. Yeah, and I think that's interesting. We're not blaming dance.
No.
it's something that has been a gift, I think, to all of us. But now it's working with dance
100%.
and working with new different things.
It's like if we were rep soccer players or rep hockey players, or like we would have picked up isms and go-tos from those things.
Yeah.
It's just
Exactly.
it's not the thing.
No. And I'm so appreciative of dance for showing me, oh gosh, so many things. So many things. Emotionally, physically, you know, it kind of opened the doors to everything in my life.
We're all here where we are
Because
today
of
because of dance.
Like none of us grew up dancing together.
No.
But met in our early adult years because that's our likeness. So it's pretty cool.
It is.
You know.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's it.
We covered so much ground.
Yeah, the word that like just came to mind was like, it's the undoing.
Yeah.
I'm sweating.
And that's
We sweat every episode.
I'm like, I don't know if you guys are sweating, but I'm really sweating.
Oh,
Yeah.
no. Many sweats.
Yeah.
Which
means we've...
Yes.
Yeah.
We're touching things, and our body is activated,
Yeah.
and it's expanding, and it's all of that.
It's, you know what I like to think is the heart.
Yeah, it's getting charged.
It pumps, and breath is connected to the heart, but also blood flow.
Oh,
Think
that's
about the
so
blood
cool.
flow. It's like, you know when you work out and you feel so warm?
Yeah.
Like I just had a workout. That's
We
what
did.
it feels
We
like.
absolutely did.
Yeah.
Because adrenaline and now endorphins and all of these things. I was journaling this morning, and I like to do... Here I go again. This episode will never end. Anyway, one thing I like to write is my vision and my why. And today it was specifically about this episode, and I was like, I am so grateful to pump my creative juices with people I love. And I just want to align with the thing to show up and just be lit up with you guys today. And
I
that's
had to not think about it. It's funny because I had to do the opposite.
Yeah.
You had to not think about it. I had to just show
up.
Right, because you're the guest though, and we wanted to create a container where you could be
But as the
and
performer,
Yes.
you come and I'm ready to perform. So instantly I felt myself. And then I said,
That's what we've done that too, where we show up, we're like, okay, here we go, and then a minute or two, and we're like, all right, now we're into
Here we
our
go.
bodies,
and
and
this couch is a magical place of undoing.
Yeah,
It really is, and I really think we got somewhere, and I think there was a lot of growth for all three of us in this episode to open to each other's points of view.
for sure.
And hear it in other words, and I'm just so grateful for your openness and your
I'm so
authenticity.
grateful. I mean, we've all had these conversations, but you know, putting it out there, I think maybe it can help other people, and not only help other people, but helping us, like you said, in this very moment. And so I'm very grateful to have friends that I can have these conversations with that aren't judging or, you know, understand, oh, this is happening, and not questioning the person you are because something you did, you know? So thank you guys for having me. I really appreciate it.
so glad we could make this
Yeah. Wow, too many more.
Too many more.
We'll love to have you back in the future and then see where
Cheers.
Cheers!
And I got my sip left.
Right, let's go.
Cheers, everyone.
Love it.